Hey, we're on. I think we're on. Are we on? Yes. Saturday morning. Welcome back to the show. Do appreciate everybody that continues to tune in every Saturday morning. So, as we head into the very hot weather out here in the summertime, we have iced tea. So, anyway, some of you are enjoying your Java and all that. So in our case, we're actually enjoying an iced tea this time around. But anyway, yeah, good morning, or it could be good afternoon or in the evening. Depends on where you're at and when you're listening to for the program here. So it's really cool. I really do. I always find that interesting when people are listening to the program when they're tuned in. You could be maybe in the middle of changing flights. You could be waiting for that next airplane to take off. You could be in that delay mode, sitting around an airport, or maybe you're on the flight and you're killing that time from the takeoff to your final destination where you want to end up. So, or you could be at work on your lunch break or something like that. Hopefully. So anyhow, the last time we did meet up, we had talked about safe queens and whatnot. To quote our brother, the crazy Scotsman, we shoot everything, white glove, nothing. Yes. So anyway, and it's interesting. Earlier this week, I did talk to a gentleman that did talk about being more of a collector rather than a shooter. Had a lot of things that kept in boxes and just did not shoot them. I mean, nothing wrong with that. Uh, there is. I didn't want there to be any kind of anything misconstrued that we were down on that. We are the collectors radio. That's what we. I recognize collecting more than I recognize shooting. In fact, I enjoy collecting more than I enjoy shooting. Lately in my life, I actually do next to no shooting already. I enjoy looking at different things and checking them out. As you guys know, you saw the posts. The posts were listed there. We were posting and showing a Smith& Wesson Model 28-2, pin and recess 4-inch. It used to be one of mine, and it has since moved on down the road. So like many of my things have moved on its way, hopefully to somebody else now that will take them out and enjoy them and have fun with them as I once did. So anyway, but like I said, I actually I understand that concept of collecting. So, yeah, but I do, in a sense, still like to. I do want to take stuff out. I have gotten more into the habit of, yes, I enjoy the collecting part of aspect of it, but I have become a little less interested in safe queens, in a sense, stuff that will never be fired. In fact, it was kind of interesting. Um, the fellow that I was talking to had mentioned to me that he said, I have this, 1978 Colt Python, brand new in the box, never even had the hammer, moved on it, or, there's not even a turn line on the cylinder because it's never happened to it, and brand new, unfired, the whole bit. So, and then, and then he proceeds to say, well, the action is so smooth. Well, it's like, how do you know? You just said you never even messed with it. So anyway, there is that, so, and speaking of Pythons, you know what? I actually still don't know what we're going to title this week's show. You may or may not know the title of it. We have right here in the box, courtesy of a really good friend of mine that had just picked this up and has said, here, take it, put it on the show, do some video stuff with it. Just here. He bought it and literally said, here. He didn't even open the box. I didn't open the box. So this is full-blown unboxing. One of the new 2025 Pythons right here, blued. This one here, or what is it? No, I'm 2024. That's when they came out. We're in 2025. I forgot. You guys see my 6-inch blued one, which I absolutely adore. So here we have a 4-inch courtesy of my buddy. And like I said, he didn't even open it up or mess with it at all. Neither did I, full disclosure. So we're going to go ahead and look at that together. So he said, yeah, just take it and, put it on the show. So anyway, we were very lucky, very lucky to get this because for video purposes. Um, because a lot of stuff is something that I wouldn't be. I mean, I'm not going to buy myself. I have the 6 inch, and I think anyway, let's go ahead and read the comments before we get too carried away here in this week's show. All right, this one here is from Mick, and Mick says, "Good morning, another great show." Let me make this bigger so I can actually read things. Um, uh, a quick update on my 6 inch blue Python. Oh, okay. So we have some things out there. I had to send it back to Colt straight out of the box due to faulty action. I got it back the first time and still had the same problem. I had to send it back the second time. Finally, almost after 10 months, it's functioning properly. It's been disappointing, but I finally have my beautiful Python and love it. Now I just wish they would make a blue Anaconda. Congrats on 70K. Thank you very much. I do appreciate that. 70,000 subscribers to the channel. That is amazing. Sorry to hear you've had such a rotten luck with the Python. I've heard other people having issues. Personally, I've had three different ones. I am down to I have the 2.5 stainless and a 6 inch blue, and I used to have a 3 inch stainless. I let that go because I basically traded it for the 2.5. At the time when I bought the 2.5 did not exist. And to be honest with you, I will say this, that when I had the 3, I kind of wished it was either the 4 or shorter. And then when, lo and behold, they came out with the 2.5, and I just said, that's actually what I want. So I ended up with that. Haven't had issues with any of mine. Knock on some wood here. We got some wood under here. So it's a bummer to hear that. I know they had some issues when they first came out. I guess the side plate screw or something like that. And you know what, though? I mean, you think about this. Every new thing on the block, as they always say, try not to be the first one to buy the ones that are just fresh out. I guess, I don't know. I guess so there's always, it does seem like it doesn't matter if it's Colt Python or the new Ruger or something rather. There's always some sort of recall, it seems like, or something that's happened or some malfunction. It does seem to attract more attention when you do have something like the Python or something like that. So just, it is what it is. Hopefully there's not too much dramatic things. Sucks to hear it's like 10 months. That's almost a year without your thing. Also, if the company or whoever you buy these things from, that's another reason why I tend to try to shop directly at local shops and get them to bring the stuff in for me back when I was buying a lot of different things. Now I've mostly just been, slimlining everything for say. I would see if they purchased it from Davidson's. Davidson's as they always promote a lifetime guarantee. Hold it to those people, man. I mean, if there's something wrong with it, have that FFL holder, send it back to them, get you a new one. So I always check on stuff like that, and especially with Davidson's constantly advertising that, stick it to them. If there's something wrong, they need to stick to what they're advertising and replace it. Lifetime guarantee, right? All right. Jeffrey Richardson says, "Darn work day today, coming in late. Better late than not." So we still appreciate everybody still tuning in no matter what. If you're even late, or you're maybe, whatever, sometime down the line during the week, maybe it is not Saturday morning for you. So we just still appreciate you tuning in. This one here is from Led8541. Led is another great guy, great channel out there. Really cool barbecue stuff, and you never know what Led's posting up there. Still, he's got one of the best bacon videos on YouTube, man. So great video, brother. Just enjoying some coffee while listening. Have a great weekend. You too, Led. Thank you for commenting and everything. I do appreciate everybody's commenting. I really appreciate that. All right, Slim. This one's from Slim Fire, our man Slim. Morning, JW. You did it, 70,000. That's awesome. Congratulations. We have a lot in common. My father was a World War II Navy veteran, and my dad and mom worked hard to raise 8 children, and that is not easy. Christmas and birthdays were good times. Yeah, I'm glad too. Like I feel like I always say this. I was always that I caught that last thread of things as far as generational growing up in the old school type era. So thank you for entertaining us every Saturday morning, Slim. P.S. My wife is having some health problems, so please keep her in your prayers. Thanks. Wow, I'm really sorry to hear that, everybody. So Slim's wife is having some health issues. Prayers in mind and thoughts. Let's keep her strong and keep her going, and get those health problems out of the way. Hopefully, it's nothing too severe or anything like that. Really, really sad to hear things like that. But prayers and much strength to your wife, Slim. Hopefully, everything shakes out okay for you. All right, this one here is from Joe P. Joe P, my man, a swig of, in my case, iced tea for Joe. Swig your coffee, or maybe you got some bourbon, that rye, as Mr. Holster would always do. All right. Good morning, JW. I have one Safe Queen. I would never consider shooting it. It's an old late 1800s Webley revolver, small caliber, 32. That was originally purchased by a distant relative on my dad's side, who was a colonel in the American Army assigned to Japan. His house in Japan was in the country, and he bought the gun for his wife for safety reasons. We know this because he kept the journal that my mom still has. My dad inherited it in 1959 when his dad died. I inherited it in 2006 when my dad passed. Wow, that is really cool. You got a track record on the thing. That's pretty awesome. I'm with you, Joe. I have a Safe Queen. I do. That I don't consider firing it because it's just one of those things where I'm just glad I have it. And I would not fire it. And I was very lucky to come across it. And it's kind of more of a personal journey for me. And I've told the story before on many different occasions. It is a Colt World War I reintroduction or reproduction, 1911, in Carbonia blue. That was one of the more rare ones that they did. So I was able to snag that up and keep that one brand new in the box. I remember when I bought it from the shop that I got it from, they had it shipped over. The guy actually said, he goes, oh, when he heard that I was going to keep it in the box, he was actually like, wow, he goes, that's really, really, it's nice to know it's going to a good home, because he kind of was always admiring it too for what it is. So I definitely keep that in my, and I have the black oxide finished one that I've shot the snot out of, and I keep that one. So, but it was just one of those 1911s. Was kind of a personal journey for me, and to have one brand new in a box like that just kind of means something to me a little bit more on a personal side. All right, DYB, congrats on a 70,000. I appreciate that. Yes, man, you guys really, you guys are awesome to get us to those numbers. So I really appreciate that. Much aloha from me to you. Jay Hall, yo, bro, enjoy that Java. I am doing the same at my local, hip local Java shop. That's awesome. I love hearing where you're tuned into the show at. All right, this one here is from my man JW. Long ago, I bought a Ruger Blackhawk in 30 carbine. Damn, I heard those. Oh, yeah. Loudest gun I ever fired. I heard that many times. I heard of, not so much the Blackhawk, but I have heard of that. But there's an auto-loading one, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I thought there was one. Maybe I am thinking of the Blackhawk. I'm not sure. Loudest gun I ever fired. Not a boom, but an ear-piercing shriek. Yes, that is what I've heard. Almost no recoil, but I developed a bad flinch, probably due to the sound. We didn't have plugs or muffs. And took it like, man, damn, man, that's crazy. Eventually, I sold my rig to a friend of a friend, and now a bit of seller's remorse, but nothing to cry about. You know, I've let a lot of things go. You know, just emptying out a lot of things, just kind of, like I said, streamlining a lot of things, and letting a lot of stuff go, considering I'm not making it to the range much anymore. So anyway, more recently, I bought a polished stainless Vaquero in 45 Colt. I'm hooked on it. Perfect look and feel with decent accuracy. I think I've written about selling a 4-inch Model 29 that was pretty to stuff and holster. It was too pretty to stuff and holster, so it was regulated to a safe queen status. I replaced with a sweet knockabout 4-inch Model 629. That's a good, yeah, that's a good replacement to definitely holster it up and take it trekking. The stainless version is valuable. It is. They're definitely. So I heard some of the very early 629 pin and recess models are extremely valuable, getting up to the point where the prices are definitely well out of my reach. I can't even begin. I couldn't even probably put the down payment of a layaway on one. But if it has a scratch or a 3, it doesn't hurt my feelings. It's always ready with Glazier. Oh, nice. Glazier safety slugs, huh? The 44 specials for serious interpersonal encounters. I have hand loads for the Vaquero, but it's much more intended for recreation. I like big recoil, but I have my limit even with my 458. Is that Winchester Magnum elephant gun? WM. Wow, that sounds like some serious tremor stuff with Bert. Not that I would ever be elephant hunting. I was collecting 200th year Rugers for a while, and I bought a number 1 T when the opportunity arose. It's fun and impressive. A little expensive for varmints, and the other end of the scale, I also have a number 3 carbine 4570 government. You know, I've never fired a 4570. Similar cartridge with easy hand loading. It's funny to hold up a number 3 with my 1022 together and visualize their relative heritage in 2 very different rifles. As for dry firing rim fires, I'm similarly disposed as you. JW, if I don't have a spent case, I retract the bolt enough to prevent the firing pin from striking the hard edge of the chamber, or I'll let the hammer catch a finger. Yeah, I mean, that's just kind of what I've always done. I know some people, yeah, I recall when I worked at the range, I recall the class they used to teach, the basic class. They used to use Ruger SB 101s, I think they were, in 22. They used to dry fire them all the time without snap caps or anything like that. I'm going to tell you, all I can say is those revolvers would have a lot of light strikes. I guess you could call it light strikes, but a lot of times they'd be firing and them rounds wouldn't go off. Not sure why or what was happening. I can't 100% blame it on the dry firing, but in a lot of ways, I always kind of feel like that's probably what caused it. I mean, in my mind, I'm thinking that. I don't know. This one here is from Crazy Scotsman. I am like you, learned everything I know from folks that have been in the industry for many years. I am blessed by them just like you. 22 should never be dry fire, going off my old school friends as well. Again, yeah, I think the majority of us agree that you shouldn't dry fire 22s. I appreciate you bringing up the Weasel channel. And yes, the videos are coming. Yes, by the way, people, the Weasel, aka the Crazy Scotsman, does have that second channel. He's going to be posting out some really cool videos on there, so keep an eye on that coming out there soon. And and also he's been doing his the live chats and stuff on his main channel there. I sincerely apologize for lack of videos. It's been a long year of medical issues, and that is no excuse. Well, don't be too hard on yourself, dude. Medical sucks. Dude, I mean, I've been in and out trying to get my back straightened out. It was long, brutal, expensive, painful. So I get it. It is not fun. You don't want to do anything when you're hurt. Medical sucks. I mean, it's something that could just totally destroy everything. Knock on wood, all of us remain in good health and try to keep it going. Folks, I'm truly sorry for lack of videos, but that will change. No worries, my friend. No worries at all. Please continue to do everything you can for Bad Check JW. He has earned every part in what he has brought us over the years. Man, I appreciate that. I'm hanging in there. Coming up in July, 11 years. It's been a breeze, man. It just seems like it's hard to believe that 10 years or 11 years like that is flown by doing this stuff in front of the camera. It's crazy to think that. Met a lot of really cool people over this. It has done a lot of cool stuff for me. Like I said, introduced me to a lot of really good people and all that. And so I really been enjoying the format of things that we do now. It's so rare and seldom that we do videos like we used to. But I really enjoy doing this, what we're doing here now. And I appreciate everybody that keeps clicking on them and bringing the view counts up on them. We may not get thousands of views, but man, I sure appreciate every single click that we do get on this stuff. It really means a lot to me. All right, Jay Hall, 2 years ago at an auction with no tax and no BP. Sorry, I don't know what that is. I held at the owner's house. I bought a 1994 8-inch blue Python, all original boxes and paperwork, and never fired for $14.50. That's a damn good price for one of those, man. I tell you, and I heard that the one they called the Elite, I think they were making towards in like the 2001 era. For some reason, I heard those are like stupid money too. I don't know why. My first Python. I am very glad I did not pay more, as I do agree with the new Pythons will take down the crazy prices for the original, especially since new ones can be had in blue. Yeah. Always said that. Look, if you like the vintage stuff, you should be happy about it because now they're not as bad on the prices. They're not like in that $4,000 creeping up range as I was seeing it, dude. Locally around here, I've seen them as low as 1,700, which is fantastic. If that's what you want the older one, have at it, man. It's a great time to buy one. The costs have come down on them. If you shop around, sure, there's still people still trying to put a $3,500 price tag on it, but if you shop around long enough on them auctions, you'll find that you don't need to pay that. There's other ones that are going to pop up, in very good shape for a lot less. I still much prefer vintage Smith & Wesson K&L and end frame models, for their quality and looks. Yeah, I still like my Smiths. Smith 29 still is always my all-time favorite. Although I am if somehow some things lined up, I actually wouldn't mind picking up one of those new Smith Model 19s, no key lock. I think that would be a nice one to have. Nice little shooter. So, all right. This one here is from Love Dogs. Way too much old school and non-drama common sense to get 100,000 subscribers. I don't know, man. I like a lot of old school stuff, so I don't think there's ever way too much of it. And I definitely don't like drama on the channel. I don't like drama, don't like politics, never talked about that stuff. I do shy away from it. Some channels are built on that, not mine. Like a lot of old school stuff and movie-related content, so, that's kind of what we're all about. Like having coffee with an old friend. My first car was a 1964 V-Dub 411 4-banger, rear engine, AM radio, no AC, for no interior carpeting. My AC's out. It doesn't, here I am out in 100-degree weather, no AC in my car. I haven't had AC for years, and I just roll the windows down and suffer through it. I had to scrape the window interior frost, and it barely generates any heat in the winter. First revolver, a 76 blued Colt Trooper 4-inch. Oh yeah, that's my, I have one of those. I kind of keep it just because it's cool. Because in Halloween 2, I believe Donald Pleasance has one of those to face off with Michael Myers. Those are great day. Those are great days. I still carry 1911s, high powers, and 2-inch 76 nice Colt Cobra. Nicely done, sir. We do appreciate that. Thank you, Love Dogs. Right there with you and all that. Old school stuff and things of definitely before my time and generation I think was the best. I was very blessed and fortunate to have like the last thread ends of living out through the late 80s and 90s, and I've been able to enjoy and be raised up the old school way. Fire. This one's from Fire 1777. Holiday weekend, I'll be having a Bloody Mary instead of coffee today. All right, Revolver TV. I have a Smith & Wesson pre-model 27 Pinto on the way from Missouri to me in Mississippi that I haven't decided yet if I'm going to make a safe clean or not. You will know when you get it, and let us know what you ended up doing with that, if you did end up making a safe clean or not. This one here is from Brody. Brody says, hi, Gadget, thanks for the video. I've been enjoying the talk show for a while now. I do appreciate that, very much so. At 26:41, I use a timestamp. Looks like the roll marks on the barrel have been colored in. How did you achieve this look? It's very sharp. Thank you, and have a good week. To fill in your stampings or roll marks or whatever, it is actually quite easy to do. There's a few different options you can do. You can go to Brownells, and you can find something called a lacquer stick. Comes in all different colors. I tend to stick with either gold or silver. You can do it that way. And you're basically coloring in and then using a cloth with some, I think you can use in that with the lacquer sticks, I think you can use like mineral oil or something like that, or acetone, and remove the excess, and hopefully it'll leave enough in the stampings to have it, filled in like that. There's that way you can do it. I've heard of people using just straight up crayons from like the, Walmart or something. I have not used that method myself, but I have heard of people doing it. I just would be careful, because when you do this, you're going to smudge stuff and paint and whatever all over the place. You just no way to do it. The hardest part of it is cleaning up the excess and leaving the stampings filled in. The other way you could do it is fingernail polish, modeling paint. You can go down to a local hobby store and get a little jar of model paint and do it that way. I've done that. So there's all different ways. I love sharing stuff like that with everybody. It's no secret. Not trying to keep anything from anybody. I love sharing information with everybody on the show, especially here, comments and whatnot. Somebody had commented one time to me and said, hey, you ever try this stuff called Renaissance wax? I said no. Picked up a can. Love it. Great stuff. Good to have in the inventory. Another good stuff to have in the inventory is Flitz. You buy a big old tube of that stuff. It lasts you forever. I'm a big fan of Ballistol. I use a lot of Ballistol. Ever since I started using that, I can say that when I was living on the island, a lot of things would rust. I started using Ballistol. I'll never forget. I couldn't get this stuff. I was very fortunate to have a subscriber named Bob Hartman send me a can. Literally just sent it to me because I couldn't get anybody to send it to me on the island. I'll never forget that. Bob Hartman was a good guy. I really wish he would, I knew what happened to him. I haven't seen him comment for a long time on my channel. He bought some grips from me. He was one of the very first people to buy grips from me. He sent me a first can of Ballistol. I'll never forget that. The other stuff I use for my leather is Obanoffs. You can buy this at like a cow ranch or something, and that's good for leather and all that kind of stuff. I use that for all my leather, materials. So anyway, just sharing information out there. This one here is from Shane. The new Anaconda. The new Anacondas are just as nice or nicer as the new Python. I agree. My buddy has an Anaconda. It's absolutely phenomenal. It is a million times better than the original Anaconda. So, and then of course now they got all the other ones where they got the Kodiak or the Kodak or not the film, but the Bear and the Grizzly. I can't remember. One's a 357 Magnum, the other one's a 44 Magnum. The difference is they don't have flutes on the cylinder. I have both, and I love them to death. I'm with you, man. I love that 6-inch blue Python of mine. I shoot that thing a lot. Take it out. Hey, my man T. Man, I miss hanging out with T. That's my good buddy over there now in Tennessee. As a general rule, I agree not to dry fire your rim fires. Again, here we go. However, riggers are the exception to the rule. They state in their owner's manual that it is fine to dry fire them. I'm not a gunsmith. I can't explain what Ruger does differently to make it okay, but Ruger claims they designed theirs to be okay with dry firing it. Hey, you know, I only have the Ruger Mark II in 22. You know, I've dry fired it every now and then. Not literally purposely like running some kind of like dry practice drills or anything like that, but just happen to snap it, doing stuff with it, taking it apart and whatnot. But generally, when I do try to take it apart, I do kind of pull that bolt back, just maybe like a 1/16 of an inch or so, and snap that trigger and do it that way. That's what I do. But hey, they do state in their manual it's okay. I do have that Kimber conversion thing that I put on a aluminum frame, 1911 and all that. That thing gets dry fired. Not intentionally all the time, but it doesn't lock the slide back in the last round. So if you're not counting shots, you do end up, clicking it off. So anyway, yes, we're finally going to get to it after, if anybody's even still here on the show, or they just skipped ahead. Anyway, what we have here, courtesy of a good buddy of mine, he bought this 4-inch blued Python. He said, here, take it and video it. He left it right here in the box. He just said, here, just get it to me afterwards. Yeah, he's a really good friend. Anyway, let's pop it open. I have not actually seen it. Wow, cool. As you would imagine, there it is. Look, you even got the hang tag still on there. Look, the sticker. He hadn't even, like I said, he didn't even pull the thing out of the box. I don't know. Hopefully, that kind of shows. Look at that thing. The bluing is, again, I mean, I don't have Tiger Woods' 20/20 vision, but my vision is got the little, my vision, geez, so a little bit of the packing grease here. Man, that bluing is nice. All right. What else is in here? Locked. We're not going to do an unboxing or anything. We'll pack it of stuff. All right. I'm not going to, this is his gun, so we don't want to do too much to it. He did say, however, we can, in my mess of things over here, I definitely did not, anyway. So, all right, let's take this off here. And, I don't have anything to cut that off with, but wow. Okay. Yeah. I guess I'm babying it a little bit. Yeah, it's new. It's definitely new. Oh man. Wow. Oh man, I'm kind of jealous a little bit. His is, I didn't bring mine out or anything like that. His has got a pretty sweet action. Let's put this back in there, just because it's not mine. I'm sure he doesn't mind it, but wow. That, it just pulls right through. Let's try the single action here. Yeah, and the other thing too to keep in mind, these things will smooth out as you're shooting them. Remember, it's brand new. Okay, so let's talk about some things that I guess that I I had thought about, because this is the first time I'm checking it out. Obviously, it's the same exact thing as my 6-inch, only his is a 4. Um, it's solid. There's no movement on there. Now, I've heard about that. People said that the rear sight on there. Now, like I said, I had 3. I'm down to the last 2 that I got. I've not had an issue. These things are, to me, they're self-explanatory. It's got a set screw. You set it. There's 3 dots. You set it to the middle. You lock that set screw down. That should be one of the very first things you do when you get this thing, and make sure that that thing is set down. You could even Loctite it if you want to. I've not had an issue with mine coming loose or anything like that. I made sure mine's cinched down. So again, I mean, I rock the sights that come with the thing on it. I've not changed them out. I have no desires on spending an extra, I don't know what the heck he charges for them. The Wilson combat sights. I mean, if you want to go that route, by all means, go for it. I just not going to spend the kind of extra money on that when mine has not presented an issue to me. Recently, my front sight did come a little loose. That's because the set screw was coming out. I tightened it back up. Not a problem. So, there again, it's common sense to go through and make sure your screws are tight. You really want to break things down to it. If you have one of those single actions from Italy, one of the Uberti, Pieta, whatever, the screws come loose. Mine have. So, all right. So, one thing, God, this bluing is so nice. It's crazy to see one brand new like this. Because I've had mine for over a year now. One of the things that I remember thinking to myself, this is the first time I ever really checked one of these out. The 4-inch, they did change the amount of ribs on the top. They put an extra rib. It's got 3. I was really, at first when I heard that, saw the photographs of it, personally really have no idea why in the hell Colt would do that and change it, but they did. Is it a deal breaker? No. Now that I see it, now that I got one in my hands, I wouldn't say it's a deal breaker. It's not, like, I guess that would be the one, to me, that would be the one thing that's like, oh my God, that is definitely different. But it's not, it doesn't detract too bad. So it's okay. It's a livable thing. God, man, I tell you, he got lucky there. Mine wasn't as smooth right away. Mine got smooth after shooting it so much. And I'm sure this is going to slick up as he shoots this a whole lot better than it already is. Not saying, God, this is, I don't know if you can see that. I mean, I know the video doesn't do it justice, but man, that is slick. So, all right. I did tell him, even though I think he's okay with them, but you know what? And I'm going to say the grips don't get me wrong. The grips that come on these things are just beautiful. They're nice. They're definitely nothing to complain about, really. However, if you are like me, that kind of wanted to get back to that old throwback of the original grips, I've showed him these. The Deer Hollow grips are what you want if you want that OG look. So I haven't decided if I was going to do a video on just showing what this thing would look like if we put the Deer Hollow grips on it or anything like that. I know he wouldn't mind if I did that. But anyway, the 4-inch blued Python. That's pretty cool. I'm a little jealous. I am, because I'm a big fan of Magnum Force, the Dirty Harry movie, and if you like that movie, this is kind of a must in a sense of that. Again, man, I tell you, I don't know if that bluing shows up. It doesn't do it justice, but it's gorgeous. It is gorgeous. Man, that action is slick. Anyway, pretty cool. I thought you guys might enjoy us breaking this thing out right here, and checking it out and all that kind of stuff. So anyhow, I'm going to get out of here. You know what? I got some other stuff still on its way in the mail. As soon as I get it, you'll be seeing it on the show. And so I can't wait for us to talk about that and do all that kind of stuff. But anyway, really cool. Really cool that we got this for video purposes, that he allowed us to fondle it. We'll see you next week.